Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. I watched a TV series earlier this year, it came out in 2019. When I watched it, I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't read the book yet. I knew roughly what the book was about. I knew it was about, obviously, a haunted house. When I watched the TV series on Netflix, I was immediately hooked. I watched the entire 10 episodes back to back, and it took me, well, probably 10 hours or so. It was late into the night when I finished the series. If you've not watched The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, then spoilers ahead, because obviously I'm going to be talking about it. So if you don't know, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix is a TV adaptation of the novel by Shirley Jackson. This novel was written in the 1950s, I think it was 1959. It's one of Shirley Jackson's best novels. The paperback copy that I have, Neil Gaiman has actually reviewed it. He just said that she's an amazing writer, but Neil Gaiman is the same man who wrote Coraline. Coraline is my favourite book because I think it's one of the scariest books that I've ever read, and I've read quite a lot of horror books. I am only 21, but I think I can safely say I've read a good amount of horror books, and Coraline was one of the first horror books that I read. Not so much horror as it is fantasy, but it definitely scared me. So for him to have said that, I know that it's going to be a good book. And obviously Shirley Jackson is renowned for her novels, but before I read this, I did watch Haunting of Hill House. I loved the TV show so much. I wanted to rewatch the TV series for this video so I could make fresh connections between the book and the TV series, differences as well. When I read this book, I was kind of shocked because there's actually nothing really that similar about it whatsoever. Main plot, none of the characters are the same whatsoever, but I have wrote a little bit about it, as you can see. So if you don't know, the book is about Dr. Montague, and he invites Theodora and Eleanor, who don't know each other, who've both experienced paranormal activities before in their life. He invites them to basically ensure that the house is haunted. He also invites the heir to the house, Luke Sanderson, and that's as much as I'll get into the book because I really recommend that you should read it. If you've also watched the series, I do recommend that you read the book as well, just because you would notice little bits and pieces of things that are similar, like I have. So in the TV series, there's Stephen Crane, who's the eldest son, Shirley Crane, who's the daughter, and when she's older she works as a mortician. There's Luke Crane, who's the eldest twin, and when he's an adult, he's basically an addict. There's Theodora Crane, and she is sensitive with her touch. She's got sort of a psychic touch thing going on. And there's Eleanor Crane, the youngest twin. And then there's the parents, Olivia Crane and Hugh Crane. There's also Mr. and Mrs. Dudley, who are both in the book and in the TV series. But I just want to focus on the names for a little bit. So Dr. Montague is not in the TV series as a main character. Eleanor Crane goes through some things when she's an adult, and she has a therapist, and I noticed that he is called Dr. Montague. And there's also Theodora, who is the name of the woman who's also invited to Hill House in the book. And one of the children in the TV series is called Shirley. The book was written by Shirley Jackson, and I think that is the correlation between those two. So in the book, Hill House has been empty for years and years until Dr. Montague wants to go and investigate it. So in the book, Dr. Montague invites Theodora and Eleanor because they've both had events happen in their life, supernatural and paranormal events. When Eleanor was younger, she had stones rain on her house for 3 days, and it was kind of like a spectacle in her hometown where she grew up. But like, she denies that it was anything supernatural. But basically the same thing happens to the mother. She talks about how the same thing happened to her when she was a child. Narrative plays a huge part in The Haunting of Hill House. Some of the scariest moments happen when people are just talking, like the mise-en-scene. I think that's how you say that. Mise-en-scene or mise-en-scène is big in The Haunting of Hill House, like Pathetic Fallacy, The Thunder, episode 6. The whole episode is basically one entire scene. When I was watching it for the first time, I was so in love with the way that it was made. But throughout episode 6, there's a storm happening outside, and I can't watch The Haunting of Hill House without headphones, because with headphones on it really makes you feel like you're there. And it's also good as well because I have read the book, and I don't think I know anyone else who's actually read the book. The book is not that interesting, but when you compare it with the TV series side by side, there is a ton of stuff that is similar, but it's also not, you know, a big deal if you have not read the book. But I just love things that are put there for fans who have read the book. One of the main quotes in the book is "she wants her cup of stars," and it's basically Eleanor talking about a girl who she sees out in a cafe. Before she goes to Hill House, she's basically driving around the town that is directly next to Hill House. No one in the town will go near this house, but she's driving about and she's imagining her life and what it could be. And she's been through things. She lives with her sister, she doesn't get on with her sister, and she just wants out, she just wants to escape. It's one of those character traits where they feel trapped and they just want to imagine a better life for themselves. And that's exactly what she does when she's on her way to Hill House. And she's in a restaurant and she sees a little girl drinking out of a cup that has stars on it. Basically, don't let anyone take your cup of stars away from you. They'll make you be like everyone else. So in the TV series, Nellie finds a tea set with stars on it, and she goes to Mrs. Dudley, and Mrs. Dudley basically tells her that this tea set must have belonged to Jacqueline Hill, who was one of the people who lived here before her. Mrs. Dudley tells Nellie to always drink from her cup of stars, to insist on her cup of stars, and to not let anyone tell her otherwise, that she can't drink out of her cup of stars. One thing I did notice was Luke, who is the eldest twin in the TV series, has the same first name as Luke in the book, who is the heir to Hill House. And in the book, his name is Luke Sanderson. And in the TV series, his name is Luke Crane. But in the TV series, when he's an adult, he is in rehab, basically. The rehab centre is called Sanderson Recovery Clinic, and that was just a little Easter egg that I noticed as well. There must be a whole ton of other stuff because it doesn't seem like this TV series really has a limit to the amount of things that you can watch or notice each time you watch this, because I've only watched this the second time and I've noticed so many other things. I've noticed that the statues move throughout different scenes, just small things like that, and which I love. I always love things that you can figure out a second time watching something. The Red Room in the TV series, that they cannot get open until the last few episodes, and it's basically the room, spoilers, where their mum takes the two twins, and you find out at the end of the TV series that each child has used the Red Room for separate reasons and separate things that they want to do, and each time there's always been something red in the room, because at the time you don't know that the room they're in is the Red Room that they cannot get open. So I'm going to give the book a 5, simply because I didn't really love the end of the book, just because it felt quite anticlimactic and it felt a little bit rushed towards the end. And the TV series, I'm going to give a 10 because I loved it, and I'm really excited for season 2 that's apparently meant to be coming out in 2020. I think it's a separate storyline because I don't think they can go anywhere else with The Haunting of Hill House, so I think it's going to be based off of another book, which I'm super excited about. And if that's the right thing that they're going to do, then I will read the book that it's based off of, and then I will do a similar video to this one. So if you've not seen The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, I recommend that you go and watch it right now. And if you've not read Shirley Jackson's books, then I recommend that you do that. And if you've not already, you can like and subscribe, and you can tell me anything in the comments that you noticed about the TV series or the book or both. So until next time guys, thanks.